Genie Bouchard would be a legit contender in professional pickleball if it wasn't for Anna Leigh Waters, who extended her win streak to 511 days, 84 matches, and 18 tournaments. She's now at 165 career titles, and she would have tied Ben Johns if he hadn't fought off match points in men's doubles. She's now just one shy of Ben's 166, and with the uncertainty surrounding Ben's future on the singles court, we could see her tying or surpassing him at Worlds in just a couple of weeks. First things first, thank you to everybody that won the recent Slam It and Transition Zone giveaways. We've messaged everybody already, but in case you missed it, here are the winners. The main draw in Vegas started on Tuesday, and the shift in men's singles is clearer than ever, and my first point against Eric Ratty just about sums it up. This was the very first point of the match. Overall, I was actually 4 for 4 when coming to the net, so maybe I should do it more often. Ben Johns was back on the singles court for the first time since Bristol back at the beginning of August, and it's just strange to see the number 7 next to his name. He beat Rio Newcomb 11-0, 11-7. Blaine Hovenier took out Alex Crum in 3 games. I've always kind of wondered why Blaine hasn't broken through in singles. He's got an enormous serve, huge forehand, and he's long and hard to pass. Maybe this will be the start of a singles run for Blaine. In mixed, we had a bunch of new partnerships to look forward to. We had Rachel Rohrabacher and Andre Daescu, Alex Trung and Federico Stockschrud, Catherine Parento and Eric Onsines, and then Team Tattoo, Tyson and Tina. It's interesting that some of these teams are mixing things up just a couple of weeks before Worlds, which is the biggest tournament of the year. It's actually worth 3,000 points, which is more than a slam. At the end of the video, in the takeaways section, I'm going to give an analysis on these different partnerships and who earned an A and who earned an F. Tyra and Christian double pickled Ava Ignatowicz and Anik Lohani, leading some industry experts to wonder, where is Odoth Freight Train graphic? But hey, those who can't produce pickleball content. And if you haven't seen Ava's Pickle Report, it's definitely worth checking out. I'm in the same boat. If you couldn't figure out my sense of humor already, Maya and I lost a 3-setter to Ling Wei and Mo. CJ and Mari survived a nail-biter 12-10 in the third against the hard eights combo of Ryan Fu and Kaylin Campbell. It's been a little bit since we spoke about Sam Querrey. Let's check in on him. Oof. Thank you, Pickleball Karen, for the clips. And if you see something noteworthy when you're watching Pro Pickleball, send it my way. I'll make sure to shout you out in the video if I use your clip. Karen also found a few other disgusting shots. Check out this shot from Chris Hayworth. But Chris and Armand actually fell to the combo of Tama Shimabukaro and Andre Mercado 11-9, 11-1. When you combine their ages, they're actually still 3 years younger than Chris Hayworth. Let that sink in. You guys also mentioned that you wanted more info on new player paddles, so this week we spotted Zane Ford using Yola instead of 6-0, which is interesting because he was basically 6-0's poster child. He must not have liked that paddle very much, though. Tyler Leung was seen using the warping point paddle after a long history with Vulcan, and Roscoe Bellamy was playing with the Pro XR Jolt paddle, which, spoiler alert, would do pretty well for him. It's just $119, and you can use the Pickleball Central discount code down below to save more money on any paddle orders that you have. So if you guys see somebody with a new paddle, make sure to send me an Instagram message, and once again, I'll give you a shout out. On Wednesday, the PPA and MLP announced that PolyMarket would be taking over as the official prediction market. Thank goodness, Kalshi was a dumpster fire. They were throwing out lines that didn't make any sense, and I'm not saying the lines were bad, which they were, but the math just wasn't mathing. Like when Gabe and Fed combined for a 59% chance to win when they were both in the finals, or when Genie and Brooke combined for a 117% chance to win. Anyway, PolyMarket is a far better platform and seems far more promising, so that'll be interesting to watch over the upcoming weeks. In women's singles, Leia was able to survive the number 37 seed Isabella Dunlap 11-8 in the third. Jessie Irvin had a nice singles run, upsetting Mary Brascia, and Paris pulled out of singles. On the men's side, I got spanked by Zhao Mei on center court. Chris Hayworth body-bagged Mo from behind the baseline, but won 6-6. Jay DeVilliers pulled out due to a family emergency with his son, so please send some thoughts his way. I've known Jay since before the APP and the PPA days. He's such a kind and genuine dude. I hope that he and his family can get through this. In mixed, we had some drama in the Deckel and Jackie versus Elise and Roscoe match. Late in the second game, Elise goes for the Ernie, and they continue playing out the point. Deckel protests to the ref, and the ref makes the call afterwards. And you might remember this referee from the match between Mo and Tyson. While Elise did step on the kitchen, she definitely reestablished here, and more importantly, the ref shouldn't be influenced into making a call by a player. That point was a big momentum shift, and Deckel and Jackie were able to take it in 3 games. Leia and Max were able to take out the new pairing of Tyson and Tina, rounding out the interesting results of Wednesday. Thursday was upset day in singles. Roscoe Bellamy dropped game 1 against Christian Alshon and fought off 2 match points in game 2 to get his first career win against Christian. Gabe Joseph got smacked by Ben in game 1. Ben got up 10-0 and won 11-2, but it was absolutely all Gabe from there, winning 11-2, 11-5. In the takeaways at the end of this video, we'll get into what this means for Ben and his future on the singles court. While seated higher at number 5, Jaume defeating Chris Hayworth is an upset. In women's, Genie Bouchard took out Catherine Parento, and Judith Castillo took out Brooke Buckner. This was Genie's first time beating Catherine, I believe, and it would be a good omen of things to come. In mixed, Noe Cleef and Kate Fahey defeated the new pairing of Federico and Alex Trung. 16-year-old Will McKinnon and Luke Pham took out Tyson and Ryan Fu, another first-time partnership, but other than that, gender doubles was pretty straightforward. On Friday, Hunter Johnson rolled Jaume 4-1, and Pickleball.com had some fun with that matchup. By the way, Pickleball.com has been posting a bunch of memes, and Memes with Pickleball has been very quiet. Are we in the middle of a pickleball meme tour wars type of situation? Meme wars? Anyway, Roscoe kept it rolling over Gabe Joseph, and Marshall Brown came back from a first game pickle against Connor Garnett to win in 3 games and make his very first PPA semi. Good for Marshall Brown, that's awesome. Jack Sock won the first game against Federico Stocksherd and had a match point at 10-8 in game 2. Fed fought it off and came back to take the second before Jack unfortunately had to withdraw with an apparent hip injury. Jack is playing really good ball, and I hope he's able to recover before Worlds in a couple of weeks. Genie Bouchard also continued the run with a 13-11 in the third win over Georgia Johnson after staving several match points, which brings me to the final takeaway at the end of the video. Why are tennis players all of a sudden having so much success? The match of the day was Ben and Anna Leigh versus Andre and Rachel, and I'm not going to go too far in depth on this one because I'm going to be breaking down the match in its entirety on my channel on Thursday because the match was just so good. So make sure to subscribe to my channel because you do not want to miss this one. This very well could have been the highest quality mixed doubles that's ever been played, and that's not an exaggeration. Ben and Anna Leigh closed it out 11-9 in game 3, and I'm honestly just giddy thinking about this match. Guys, seriously, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be breaking that one down in a new type of video on Thursday, so you're not going to want to miss it. In men's, Ben and Gabe played Luke Pham and Will McKinnon, and while they didn't win a game, the points were very high quality. I mean, take a look at these couple of highlight points courtesy of Nico the Lefty. Will McKinnon, watch out for that dude. 16 years old. Fed and Hayden played a chippy match against Riley and Noe that included some smack talk and rules controversy, so you know I'm all over that. Hayden has actually been playing the left side with Federico a little bit more, and Fed looks much more comfortable on the right than he did before. Riley wins a hands battle at 2-2, and so it begins with a little chirp from Riley. At 8-6, Federico misses this fourth, and then they just walk off the court to call a timeout, which is now against the rules. They get a technical warning as a result of that, which definitely won't come back to bite them in the butt.
A few moments later.
They come back and Hayden misses this return. They challenge the ball and the ball is found to be out. Since the challenge was incorrect, they're giving a second technical warning, and a second technical warning results in a point given to the opponent. At 10-8, that means game to Newman and Cleef. Game 2 brings some fire from the crowd and some more chirping from Riley.
No.
At 2-1, we have the 1000th example of hindrance and distraction confusion. Riley looks like he misses this shot, but it does climb over. Fed puts a hand up. Riley stops. Hayden speeds it up. Riley counters, and Hayden catches the ball in a crazy nonchalant manner. The distraction ends up being attributed to Riley since he's the one that stopped the point. But this happens all the frickin' time. Let's get rid of the dang distraction rule because it causes way more confusion than anything. Hayden starts chirping a little bit more after this, and he just doesn't stop. Hayden says something else here that we can't hear, but Riley isn't happy about it, and Onisha, she doesn't get paid enough for this nonsense. Hayden and Fed win the second 12-10 and the third 11-8, leading to this awkward handshake. And awkward handshakes would be a theme of this weekend. Eric Onsines and Matt Wright took out JW and Dylan in an epic 3-set match, showing that 1. Eric Onsines is capable of big wins with the right partners. 2. Matt Wright can still compete at the highest level with the right partner, even at the age of 47. Matt has made 4 semis this year, and just imagine how much of a absolute menace this guy would have been at like 28 years old. On Saturday, Genie Bouchard continued her run in a wild match against Kate Fahey. Kate had won both previous matchups against Genie, but Genie came out hot. She won the first game 11-1 and was up 10-2 in game 2, but Kate rattled off 10 straight points on serve to win 12-10. And I would have thought that Genie would be absolute toast after that, but no. After a back-and-forth start to the game, Genie pulled away for an 11-4 win after a devastating second game loss, and Kate gave her a pretty icy handshake at the end. We're going to talk more about Genie and the takeaways, but she simply outplayed the number 2 player in the world for the majority of this match and was just 1 point away from delivering a 1-2 impressive beatdown. On the other side, Anna Leigh Waters took out Caitlin Christian 1-8 to keep the undefeated streak alive. On the men's side, Hunter Johnson played his good friend Roscoe, with Paris Todd commenting, and Roscoe was able to earn a huge win over the world number 1, 11-7, 13-11, to make his second PPA final, where he would face off against Federico Stocksrud. Federico took out Marshall Brown on the other side of the draw. Mixed doubles was once again insane. Anna and Hayden took on Ben and Anna Leigh, and just take a look at these couple of highlight points. Hayden and Anna took game 1, just like they had actually done in both of their previous 2 meetings in San Clemente in Texas. But just like their previous 2 meetings, Ben and Anna Leigh seemed to start slowly, but once they settled in, they come back to win in 3. And they're even tougher to play in best of 5. On the other side, Gabe and Jesse pulled off the upset win against JW and Georgia in 3 games. I don't know how this is possible, but Gabe is somehow an underrated mixed player. While he and Jesse are quite strong together and have great chemistry, we'll say, Gabe has never really played with top 5 females in mixed doubles. It'd be interesting to see how he would do if he threw his hat into the mixed doubles partnership musical chairs and played some with somebody like Rachel or Tyra, Paris, or Catherine. Would love to see how they would do. In women's doubles, Anna Leigh and Anna Bright put the beat down on Jade and Catherine again, 3-2, and Tyra and Paris beat Rachel and Georgia in 3. In men's, Ben and Gabe beat Hayden and Fed in 2 tight games. Take a look at this charging mid-court misdirect. This shot would never cross my mind in a million years, nor is it something that we cover in my online course, the transition zone. In the transition zone, we focus far more on building fundamentals in a step-by-step approach, not these insane shots from Gabe Tardio. Sorry. We're in the pre-sale right now, so you can lock in 2 years of membership by becoming a founding members. Follow the link down below to save a bunch of money. It is a great gift and a great Christmas gift, and if you don't like it, you don't pay. On the other side, Andre and Christian ended Matt and Eric's nice run. On Sunday, Ben and Anna Leigh took out Gabe and Jesse in 3 straight games, and Federico Stocksrud made quick work of Roscoe Bellamy 11-3, 11-2. Anna Leigh and Anna Bright dropped game 1 to Paris and Tyra, but they turned things around pretty quickly to win the next 3 games and their second straight title. The match of the day was Ben and Gabe versus Christian and Andre. Coming into this, Gabe and Ben had never missed a final, but they actually lost their first finals together against Andre and Christian. Head-to-head, Ben and Gabe had won 12 of the last 14 games against Christian and Andre, and this match was a story of sides, with each team winning from the good side. In men's doubles, you almost always prefer to play against the wind so that you can add a little bit of extra pace on your shots, and the wind will bring it down. And the team playing against the wind won each of the first 4 games. Game 5, they switched at 6 points, so nobody got a full game against the wind. And in Game 5, Christian and Andre actually did end up with a championship point at 10-8-2, but they never got the ball back. Ben and Gabe closed it out on their very next side out for a 12-10 victory in another incredible match. Finally, Anna Leigh Waters was defending her 511-day winning streak against Genie Bouchard, who was looking scary coming into this match. But Anna Leigh was too much for her, and she ended up winning 11-5, 11-5. While the announcers were talking about it nonstop, it is an insane accomplishment, and at this point, it feels like we need to maintain a days since last loss counter. Now for the takeaways from the weekend. First takeaway, new partnerships, expectation versus reality. New partnerships used to kind of just click, but now as the game gets more and more competitive, players are better and better at exploiting even the slightest hesitation that's bound to happen with new partnerships. A little bit of confusion around the middle, a little bit of confusion on third shots, drop and drive, all of that stuff. It's interesting to see several new partnerships just weeks before the biggest tournament of the year in Worlds. Some of them seem to be promising, and some of them need to go back to the drawing board. Rachel and Andre have strong potential together. Stylistically, Andre likes to play a lot of the court, and Rachel is extremely dangerous when she's balanced and stationary. She likes to spread the ball around, which also allows Andre to get involved. They pushed Ben and Anna Leigh to their limit, so it's hard to give this new partnership anything other than an A. Alex Trung and Federico Stocksrud fell to Noe Cleef and Kate Fahey in a match they were likely the favorites in. While Fed's mixed results definitely lag behind his men's and his singles, he seems to have a little bit more success with ladies that can consistently set him up for poaching opportunities off of the third shots like Rachel, Anna, and Catherine. Alex has very aggressive thirds, however, they didn't get quite as much early offense, and Alex and Fed were outgrinded by Noe and Kate. I'm going to give these guys a C. Eric Onsines and Catherine Parento were good, but not great. They're still trying to find their identity as a team, and they had flashes of solid play, including their second game against Hayden and Anna, in which they lost 11-9. Catherine seems to play her best with guys that take up a lot of the kitchen line, and Eric does just that. So I'd like to see this new pairing again. I give them a B. Last but not least, we have Team Tattoo, Tyson and Tina, and I didn't see this working well from the start. Like Federico, Tyson generates a lot of his offense off of serves, thirds, and crashes. While Tina has money thirds, they're not super aggressive, nor do they really capitalize on Tyson's big serve. From the kitchen line, Tyson doesn't play as big as some of the other guys. He loves his forehand in the middle, but that opens up his backhand out wide, meaning that Tina and Tyson have a few too many safe spots for their opponents to exploit. While they're both good players and good mixed pairings, I give the partnership an F because I just don't see the partnership working very well together based on their styles. So let me know what you think of these grades. Second takeaway, is Ben Johns' singles career coming to an end? There are several reasons to believe that this might be the case. First, there are rumors that Ben just doesn't particularly enjoy singles, which based on his recent tournament schedule, would support this. Prior to the tournament, Ben skipped Bristol, Las Vegas, Cincinnati, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Virginia Beach. Now, he stated publicly that he doesn't want to play singles on rollout surfaces, but that only excuses 3 of those absences. Next, the lifetime ball and the change in the meta of men's singles is horrible for Ben. Ben is the master of cat and mouse, drawing opponents into the kitchen and then dissecting them from there, but with the faster and higher bouncing lifetime balls, Ben is struggling to cover third and fifth shot passing shots. Everybody's struggling to cover these shots, which is why we're seeing players become more and more selective on when they're coming to the net. If you want to dive more into this change, I credit it with Hunter Johnson, and I reviewed that with him in this video here. Ben has a very strong forehand, however, his two-handed backhand is underdeveloped compared to most of the rest of the top players, almost certainly because he's played years of dropping his backhand and coming to the net behind it. Prior to this loss against Gabe Joseph here in Vegas, Ben was 7-0 against him, and he's faced with a clear choice. Ben needs to completely reinvent his singles game, or he's going to be left behind, and quite honestly, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't bother. Doubles is becoming more and more competitive, and as a result, more physical. Singles specialization is inevitable, and Ben is working harder than ever to stay on top of the doubles game. My prediction is that Ben is going to keep playing singles for fun when he feels like it, but I think that his reign as the best singles player in the world has come to a permanent close. The tennis players are getting serious. The Lifetime Singles Tournament saw the nice breakthrough from Donald Young, and this tournament saw great results from Jack Sock and Genie Bouchard. As I've mentioned, the Lifetime Ball is turning singles into mini tennis, which obviously favors the people who, well, played tennis. That just makes sense. But this isn't just falling into their laps. Jack, Genie, Donald are training. They're training hard. They're getting in better shape, learning the patterns, taking things more seriously, and the results are showing. Jack pushed Federico Stocksrud to the limit, and I hope that Jack's injury against Fed doesn't set him back too far, because I think it's great for the sport of pickleball for tennis converts to be competitive, but not dominant. That's all for Vegas. This upcoming week is Major League Pickleball back in Dallas. If you made it this far in the video, please subscribe and checking out the links down below. It helps me out a ton. So thanks for watching.